Good morning. I'd like to congratulate Erica Bisson and Laura Snyder for organizing this fantastic meeting. Your attention to detail ensures we're in for a spectacular time here in Phoenix. The theme for the meeting, as you just heard, is Beyond Limits, Elevating Quality in Spine Surgery. The concept of better and elevating quality fit like hand in glove. One leads to the other. As I began to think about this meeting, I was struck by this sentiment of leave this place better than you found it. Now, like many of you, I thought this quote came from my mom. Turns out somebody beat her to it. And this quote is really often misattributed to Robert Louis Stevenson or Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it does sound like a transcendentalist thought. Some believe it was Robert Baden-Powell, who was the founder of the Boy Scouts, and he did say this in a posthumously published letter in 1941. But I'd like you to meet Bessie Anderson Stanley. Her line really was a little different, but it says, "Who has left the world better than he found it?" She submitted an essay in 1904 to Brown Book magazine to answer the question, what is success in 100 words or less? Fittingly, this was entitled Success, for which she won first prize of $250. Now, it's often presented as a poem. It contains the lines, "Who has left the world better than he found it, whether an improved poppy, a perfect poem, or a rescued soul." Let me draw your attention to the first line, which will sound familiar as well. He achieved success who has lived well, laughed often, and loved much. Yeah, turns out Bessie had game. Leave the world better than you found it. It's a laudable goal, and it's one that goes beyond do no harm. So my challenge for all of you is to leave this world, this place, spine surgery, better than you found it. I'd like to give you 4 things that you can do to put this into action. The first one, congratulations, you've already accomplished. By attending this meeting, you've shown your willingness to learn and improve yourself, which gives you great ammunition to improve patient care. Or perhaps you're just here for the CME. Regardless, soak it in. You'll hear much about registries and registry science during this meeting. In 2012, AANS and NPA began N2QOD, which had a very successful spine module. This spine module was rolled into ASR in 2020. ASR now is a low-cost barrier to participate in a spine registry. This is the second way you can begin to improve patient care. By enrolling patients into the registry, you'll be able to track your outcomes relative to national data. Going forward, it will also become important for MOC and insurance company distinction programs. Identifying opportunities for improvement will help you join us on this journey to better. The next opportunity to improve is to employ evidence-based care. Many guidelines exist for trauma or degenerative spine care, though sometimes, due to circumstances beyond your control, implementing these may be unrealistic or difficult in your practice. I'd like to highlight a pilot study that we participated in with the Institute for Healthcare Improvement and NeuroPoint Alliance that everybody could adopt now. We looked at 1 to 3 level lumbar fusions and tried to affect length of stay and readmission. For most of your hospitals, length of stay is a hot button issue. One of the interventions we employed was proactively calling patients after their discharge from the hospital. So rather than wait for them to call with a problem, we'd call to check in with them, and they knew that was coming. So the patients were coached during their admission and knew they'd receive a postoperative call. Patients who had both preoperative coaching or had preoperative and hospital-based coaching, not surprisingly, shown on the left here, having a planned discharge date and planned length of stay results in a lower length or shorter length of stay. Similarly, having clear preoperative discharge instructions lowers your length of stay. What I found fascinating is shown on the right here. The knowledge that the patient was going to receive a post-op phone call resulted in a 24-hour shorter length of stay. This is a simple intervention that moves the needle. The final opportunity is what I think is both the easiest to do and most impactful, mentorship. When I was in college, I signed up to volunteer in a local emergency room. There are no doctors in my family, so I didn't really have a chance to shadow or have a mentor. And I think a lot of people are in that similar circumstance for a variety of reasons. Being a volunteer in a sleepy community emergency room is not what I thought it would be. To make matters worse, the one-time physician actually talked to me. He strongly encouraged me to do literally anything else besides medicine. So he was burned out, and I'm stubborn, so I stand before you today asking you to become good mentors. Young students are enthusiastic. Harness their energy. Let their enthusiasm bleed over to you. I imagine many of you in the room can name a person or 2 people who are responsible for you being here today. Across education and the workforce, mentoring consistently shows positive effects. The strongest impacts aren't just on raw performance, they're on career satisfaction, sense of belonging, and long-term commitment. Meta-analyses show that mentoring improves performance, but even more importantly, it improves how people feel about their path and reduces the likelihood that they leave it. Interestingly, some of the data suggests that the success is tied to the mentees, so the people who reach out to you are doing that for a reason. In medicine, especially in surgery, mentoring matters even more because the stakes are higher. A study of nearly 7,000 general surgery residents showed that people with meaningful mentorship were almost 4 times more likely to report adequate operative autonomy and had about half the odds of burnout or suicide, a 60% lower chance of wanting to leave the profession. Neurosurgery gives us a concrete example of this. Programs and institutions that build structured mentoring ecosystems, especially early, see improved results. For example, growth of medical student mentorship programs in neurosurgery has been associated with dramatically higher scholarly output and greater success entering the field. This isn't accidental. Mentorship turns interest into preparation. Mentorship isn't optional enrichment. It's a force multiplier for performance, for wellness, and for sustaining the next generation in medicine and spine surgery. Let me show you how this works in Indianapolis. Here are kids from the summer of 2025. During the pandemic, we started out and we hired 4 students to do clinical research. Full disclosure, 2 of them were my children. They didn't have a choice, I guess. We've grown that program to where we hire around a dozen students during the summer, usually 1 to 2 undergraduates, and the rest have just finished their first year of medical school. 2 years ago, we launched a gap year program to hire kids in between college and medical school. The difference in age and experience turns out to be a strength of the program. The cross-pollination is fantastic. Typically, 1 day a week, they shadow in the OR or in the clinic, and 4 days a week, they do clinical research with us. The productivity started slow, so the first year we had 1 publication. The most recent year that's complete, we've had 11 publications, 7 oral presentations, and 31 posters. Now we have our first student who is in the program matching into neurosurgery this year, and that's a career path that he really didn't see himself pursuing when he started in that program. We've continued this spirit by beginning a neurosurgical residency training program. Anthony Dragon and Jeff O'Malley are brave souls to be the first 2. Jeff is a case in point of mentorship. He's shown here with our very own Jack Knightley, who is Jeff's Pee-wee hockey coach or a Mighty Mite hockey coach. I'm not facile with the divisions of hockey, but since Jeff was very small. Our new attendings get matched with mentors when they start as well. Mentorship's particularly helpful during these transitions of life, but unfortunately sometimes not readily available. The journey to being better is not an easy one. You have started this by being here. Take home your new knowledge and begin to improve your care. Consider participating in a registry. Most importantly, be willing to mentor. You each have the power to do this. When you get that random email or cold call from a bright-eyed student, answer it. Let their interest and enthusiasm fuel you. You will change their life and be rewarded in return. Thank you.